You might think you know everything about ancient Greece. We're all familiar with the Parthenon, the 300 Spartans, and Homer's Odyssey and Iliad. Yet, did you know there was no such unified state as ancient Greece with Athens as its capital? The Parthenon was more of a central bank than a place of worship, and Alexander the Great was as distant in time to the Trojan War as we are to Genghis Khan. So let's look through the sands of time into ancient Greece. 2,500 years ago, the Roman Republic was in its infancy. Confucius and the Buddha were teenagers, and the pyramids were already standing. Meanwhile, in Greece, the Olympic Games were held in Olympia. Delphi was where an oracle spoke for all Greeks, and Mount Olympus was the seat of the gods. Ancient Greece was not a country. There was no state with an established border or capital, but rather ancient Greece was a group of distinct and completely independent cities called polises. Two of these polises, Sparta and Athens, were just coming into power. Sparta conquered the land of Mycenae and transformed itself from an ordinary polis into a preeminent military power, whose main objective was to extend their military might. Athens took a different path. Hunger forced the people and the aristocracy to come together and put aside their differences. And from this, democracy was born. By the middle of the 6th century BCE, most of the advanced polises were located on the Ionian coast of modern-day Turkey. These cities, such as Miletus and Halicarnassus, were the first to master Eastern innovations such as the alphabet, coinage, mathematics, naval fleets, and complex trade networks. Meanwhile, a new player emerged and started dominating the area: the vast Persian Empire. Miletus attempted to preserve its independence, resisting Persian invasion and tyrant rule, and with Athenian aid attempted to resist. Unfortunately, this was in vain, and the Persians captured, then torched the city and pressed on. Miletus, Athens, and other Ionian polises lost the Battle of Lade, which decisively ended the revolt. The Persians attempted to punish and subdue Greece for the next 20 years. We owe our knowledge of this to the first historian Herodotus, who wrote extensively about the Persian Wars. Mardonius, the nephew of Darius the Great, the king of Persia, led a campaign conquering Thrace and Macedonia. Victorious, but wounded, he lost 1,200 of his ships in a storm off the coast of Mount Athos, causing him to retreat back to Persia. Darius sent another force, a Persian fleet intending to take Athens. They were defeated at the Battle of Marathon, mainly due to the phalanx. It is reported that the Persians allegedly lost 6,400 men to the 192 Greek losses, plus the messenger who ran the 26.2 miles from the Battle of Marathon to Athens to announce the victory. Darius began preparations for a third invasion. However, a series of revolts in Egypt and then his death in 486 BCE stalled these plans. After Darius the Great's death, Xerxes takes over as ruler of Persia. During this period of peace with the Persians, several silver deposits had been found near Athens. This was used to build 200 triremes, a fast and maneuverable warship. The peace did not last long though. Xerxes gathered his army, a much larger force than his father's, approximately 300,000 men and 1,200 warships. They quickly retake Thrace and Macedonia and descend into Thessaly. This is where the Battle of Thermopylae takes place, where, with the help of some neighbors, a group of 300 Spartans led by Leonidas defended a narrow passage and set up a familiar foe to the Persians: the phalanx. The Spartans were eventually defeated, but the delay gave enough time for most of the Athenians to escape the city, which Persia quickly sacked. Next, the Persians won the Battle of Artemisium, which resulted in the capture of Euboea, bringing most of mainland Greece north of Corinth under Persian control. Having only the land south of Corinth left, Xerxes presses his advance. The Greek forces under the command of Themistocles tricked the Persians into fighting the Straits of Salamis. This location was to their advantage, as it negated the superior number of the Persian fleet. Themistocles sent a servant to mislead Xerxes into believing the Greeks were planning to flee. Xerxes orders his fleet into the straits, where they were surrounded and defeated by the more agile Greek triremes. After this battle, Xerxes left with a large portion of his army back to Persia. He left General Mardonius to finish the conquest of Greece. Mardonius and the Greeks faced off in the Battle of Plataea. the Greeks won a decisive victory against the Persian army, continuing the Greek rally. At nearly the exact same time, the Greek fleet won another important victory against the remaining Persian fleet in the Battle of Mycale on the coast of Asia Minor. After these losses, the Persians fled back to Asia Minor, never again attempting another invasion. The Greek polises united, proving that the sum is greater than the individual parts. Through trickery, an advanced naval fleet, and military innovations, they were able to defeat the Persians, and thus a scattered array of polises defended the territory in which classical Greek culture was born. This victory and spoils of war left the area ripe for prosperity. But did it last? Find out in the next episode, where we explore the Peloponnesian Wars, in which Athens and Sparta face off for control of Greece. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for future content. Take care and stay curious.